It's Daybreak here on Arise News. Time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive. Let's take a look at This Day, our sister publication. In medicine after political death, AU steps aside. Damagum takes over. Some headline, some writers there. Igirov Ward ESCO insists signatures to suspend order forged. PDP nominates Saraki, others into ad hoc committee to conduct Guba primary for Kogi, Imo and Bayelsa State. Leading photo there from yesterday, closing bell to commemorate Gerugu listing on the exchange. More headlines from This Day this morning. SGF courts processes won't stop transfer of power on May 29. Tinubu nominates Bagudu Edun into Presidential Transition Council. Above the nameplate of This Day this morning, Zenith Bank's gross earnings rose by 24% to 945.5 billion naira in 2022. Meanwhile, Buhari, Bajabiamila, Wase, Sanwo-Olu, Bello, others rejoice with Tinubu at 71.
The Punch newspaper is leading with the embattled now former PDP chairman. Suspension. AU heads for court as PDP appoints acting chair. AU wants the court to overturn his suspension. Damagum to run party pending judgment. Court cases won't stop handover to Tinubu Shetima. Federal government says stop fuel subsidy, revive refineries. Pengason tells the government. And Labour shelves strike, gives the Central Bank of Nigeria fresh 2-week ultimatum.
The Guardian Nigeria. Subsidy removal plan raises anxiety as Labour breaks rank. And just at the bottom there, PDP obeys court order, replaces AU with Damagum. And 1 year after, Kaduna government releases personal belongings to train attack victims.
Daily Sun, PDP, Atiku, Wike camps clash over AU sack. Kidnappers of 4 INEC officials, 2 core members demand 50 million naira ransom. A federal government panel on oil theft losses submits report to the National Security Advisor, and Nigeria records 784 confirmed Lassa fever cases and 142 deaths.
Similar headlines in Nigerian Tribune. PDP crisis, AU out, Damagum in, Wike celebrates.
The international papers, this is the Daily Telegraph. Petrol car ban in chaos after EU climbed down. That's a picture of the new First Minister of Scotland, Hamza Yusuf.
All right, the Guardian UK. Guardian owner apologizes for founder's link to slavery. Scott Trust to invest in 10-year program of restorative justice. School shooter told friend something bad is coming. That's from that mass shooting that happened in Nashville.
The Financial Times hunt to provide fresh cash for NHS. Pay deal, but teachers' row intensifies. Bankman-Fried paid $40 million bribe to Chinese officials. That's according to US prosecutors.
All right, for the press review, let's bring in Emmanuel Baller, who joins us now. Emmanuel, good morning. Thanks for always being here with us very early in the morning. Let's take a look at This Day and really all the national dailies still on the PDP crisis and who's in the center of that. Yocha Ayu, the embattled or now former national chairman of that party. He's been replaced by Damagum, who's in acting capacity. However, Ayu's camp says they will go to court on that. You also have some other papers saying, look, Wike is rejoicing and celebrating wherever he is.
Of course, I mean, that's almost to be expected. But it's a big story breaking yesterday, and all the newspaper looking for interesting angles. I like the way they did, but this day actually put it in very, very clear perspective. It's saying in medicine after death. It's almost the inimitable way that the editors at this day try to capture what is happening. Now, the perspective these days putting on it is that it's almost, this resignation is almost, well, if you give or take, almost worthless. Doesn't add anything to the party. This is probably what Ayu should have done before, and this is what maybe the presidential candidate did at the time, Atiku, should have asked him to do, to step aside. But he has always argued, as he's still arguing, that look, the procedures are not right for his moving away. So it's like medicine after death. Remember that the G5, broke away from the party over the Ayu matter, and after all is been said and done, today Ayu is out. Probably if this had happened before the election, before February, maybe in January or even in December last year, when the heat was on, when it looked at like he was the sacrificial lamb that could give PDP the victory. If he had taken this unprecedented step then as a sacrifice, probably the story would be different. And so that's why these days say this medicine after death. But still, some people in the party are still rejoicing. Wike, for instance, as the Tribune story says, is rejoicing, he's celebrating this fall. Yesterday, he was full of, in his unusual way, talking about it and saying that he has always said that Ayu was going to leave and that this has finally happened. What remains for fact checkers now is to look at what this will happen, what it will mean for the party. Damagum say he's only going to be there until the case is determined in court, and that he's only fulfilling all righteousness, to quote him. But of course, this is bound to reverberate around the party, and even some of the elections that are up ahead, the primaries in Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi State. Dino Milai is saying that it's no victory for Wike because, Wike has always said that, the position shift to the south. But with this arrangement, the position remains in the north. So Dino is saying that, well, Wike should not celebrate that he's won nothing. But the core of the G5 agitation was that, look, Ayu should just step aside and that they don't want him. Seems to be the crisis. And a lot of people with this, especially those who have been criticizing Ayu, and now, of course, digging in and saying that his leadership was actually poor even from the start. Namani is saying that, George is saying that, but the judge is also saying that that's a good thing that has happened. So I think at the end of the day is the story, in Kechi, like you say, the story of one person, Ayu himself, always been in the story. Was he a clog in the wheel of progress? Was he the fly in the ointment? What was he really? Well, he's there, and history is going to judge his role. But for now, the party is trying to take this in its stride and move on.
Other news now, Emmanuel. Labour, the Nigerian Labour Congress, has shelved its planned strike, and it's giving the Central Bank of Nigeria 2 more weeks to make cash available nationwide. What's it like out there? Do people have cash in their hands right now? And there's also worries about the new subsidy removal regime and how things will play out going into the next administration.
Yeah, that's the lead story of The Guardian, and it's almost like a remix or, a refurbishing of the story that we had this day, broke on Monday. Yeah, the story of what will happen if you remove the subsidy. The dominant, theory out there is that take out the subsidy and the good life will flow. But this story is from Monday, when Emmanuel Baller reported this same kind of story for this day, saying that, look, the removal of subsidy might even deepen the hardship in the country, because people are going to buy this fuel at 750 naira per litre, and imagine just what that will mean. Of course, there will be availability from all indication. So the idea all up to this point was that subsidy was wrong or was bad for the economy. But now other people are digging in and looking at it from a different perspective, that look, if you don't cushion the effect of the high cost of buying these products, we're still going to be where we are. And so the experts are saying that, look, it's not just about removal of subsidy, but creating jobs, providing the palliatives that we, of course, help citizens to cope with that high cost. So those are the sort of things that people are beginning to talk about. And it's just 3 months to June when months to June when this is supposed to happen. So people are worried now about the after effects of removal. Everybody's been talking about removing subsidy, but now reality is kicking in. Just a few months to it that, look, when you take out the subsidy, what happens to the rest of us? How do we cope with the high cost of buying the product? As a matter of fact, what do we do about the palliative? What's going to happen to the refineries? So organized labor is saying that this has to be there, and they have to be very clear about it before such moves by the federal government is made.
All right, on this day, speaking of transition, the SGF is saying that court processes won't stop transfer of power on May 29, and he's really speaking on the importance of a smooth and peaceful transition. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, it's procedure, of course, and he's right. You know, currently, it's not just at the federal level, even at state level, there are opposition parties who want to go to court and everything. Those will not stop the process of transition. You know, people are going to stay transit. Maybe that's why the INEC boss, was telling Dino that day that, look, go to court. So the courts will be the only place, the only institution that would determine whether someone is going to be president, governor, or whatever. Those are going to be the court's decision to make. But as for the transition, as for the timetable, those are already enshrined, and so there's nothing you can do about it unless something strong from the courts, it comes out. But for now, all seem to be set. I think the only story around the president is his whereabouts, and that seemed to be the conversation, that president-elect, where he is, where he's not, and those kind of stories around him. But as for the court cases, well, those are there. But yes, the transition itself is running, and that the president himself keeps saying that he wants to leave. He's in a hurry to leave by May 29.
Emmanuel, Nasarawa State has joined the League of Oil Producers in Nigeria, and we're hoping for better days for the state. What do you see coming out of this?
Well, yeah, you have to look at it holistically from the issue of, oil wealth and the fact that, states or even the country has actually departed from most the solid mineral from agriculture, and oil has not proven to be such a huge blessing for communities or for states where you talk about this. Of course, the discovery is one thing, the exploration is another thing, and of course, getting any form of benefit from it is also another different story altogether. I think all over the world, the emphasis is to go away from oil and to concentrate on other things. Like, so Nasarawa State, for instance, is known for solid minerals. That's the sort of thing that the state should be able to leverage on and develop. Ensure that it's organized in such a way that you don't have those illegal, mining that's going on there, and to leverage on that to see what it can get. It's called the state of solid minerals, not oil-rich state. But of course, such discovery is bound to excite, citizens, and of course, people will look at the prospect of how this will impact on the state. But agriculture, solid mineral, tourism, these are the sort of things that states should be leveraging on as they look away, look away from oil. Like Delta State used to say, Delta beyond oil. The states need to really look inwards to see, look at non-oil sectors, how to develop the economy.
All right, Emmanuel Baller, thank you so much. That's the press preview. Let's hear your view on all the burning issues. Follow us on Twitter @AriseTV.